You know, there's a moment that hits you like a lightning bolt. Not in a dramatic movie kind of way, but in a quiet, uncomfortable realization. A moment where something clicks. For me, that moment came not when I made a big return on an investment, but when I realized that despite all the books, videos, and spreadsheets, I still wasn't getting ahead. I was doing everything right on paper, saving money, investing regularly, diversifying. But something was missing, something fundamental. As I sat quietly reflecting on my financial journey, a powerful revelation struck me. The most profound lesson I've learned about money, wealth, and investing transcends mere figures and calculations. It centers around the mindset. It's not merely about crunching numbers, selecting the hottest stocks, or identifying the next big investment opportunity. Instead, the core of financial success lies in cultivating a long-term perspective in a society that is overwhelmingly fixated on immediate gratification. This understanding didn't dawn on me overnight. Like many individuals, my early beliefs were rooted in the simplistic notion that wealth equated to accumulating as much money as possible. The conventional wisdom seemed straightforward: the more you possess, the richer you are. However, the reality is far more complex, as I eventually discovered. The truth that few people openly share is that merely having money doesn't equate to solving financial problems when your mentality lacks evolution. Imagine winning the lottery. Suddenly, you're thrust into a world with a staggering bank balance, or receiving a substantial promotion that boosts your salary significantly, or making an astute investment that pays off handsomely. Yet, despite these windfalls, it's entirely possible to find yourself facing financial ruin just a few years down the line. Why does this happen? It's simple. Accumulating wealth is not solely about actions taken, it's fundamentally about the way one thinks. Understanding this distinction changed everything for me. It shed light on the importance of nurturing a mindset oriented towards growth and sustainability, rather than one fixated on fleeting gains. This shift laid the groundwork for my financial practices, guiding me toward long-lasting prosperity rather than short-lived victories. In the beginning, my pursuit of wealth was driven by a desire for quick riches. I wouldn't openly admit it to myself, of course. Instead, I comforted my conscience with phrases like, "I'm just making a calculated risk," or "this opportunity could change everything." Yet, if I was honest, I yearned to bypass the tedious methodical processes that typically lead to success. Instead of focusing on building a strong foundation, I was fixated on finding shortcuts. I was more interested in snatching quick victories than laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. What I discovered through experience, unfortunately, was that chasing after those fleeting gains often leads to deep, lasting regret. I learned this lesson in a very harsh way. I invested in ventures that were well beyond my comprehension, drawn in by the excitement and promise of high returns, only to lose substantial amounts of money. I fell prey to market hype, neglecting the diligent research that might have illuminated the risks I was taking. When the market took a downturn, I panicked and withdrew my investments, ultimately missing out on the inevitable recovery that followed. My behavior was steeped in emotion. I was often impatient and reactive, making decisions based on fleeting feelings rather than sound judgment. Each misstep felt like a reset button, leaving me to confront the reality of starting all over again, and the cycle of frustration continued. The turning point in my understanding of wealth wasn't brought about by a single landmark event. Rather, it unfolded gradually, akin to a smoldering ember that eventually ignites into a steady flame. Over time, I came to a realization that would reshape my financial perspective. The individuals I admired for their financial acumen, every seasoned investor I looked up to, and each affluent person who managed to not only accumulate wealth but also maintain it, shared a profound and singular characteristic. They all had the remarkable ability to think in decades rather than fleeting days or even months. That realization became the cornerstone of my financial philosophy. Wealth is constructed with patience and purpose, often in an unremarkable manner. It isn't glamorous or flashy. It rarely makes headlines or trends on social media platforms like Twitter, nor does it capture the collective imagination on Reddit. Yet this undeniable truth resonates through time. Those who find enduring success with their finances are the individuals who not only embrace long-term thinking, but also commit to taking consistent, calculated actions while steadfastly resisting the distractions and noise of immediate gratification. In a world obsessed with quick wins and instant results, it's essential to cultivate the discipline to focus on the broader horizon. This is where true financial success lies. I began to reevaluate my financial decisions by adopting a different perspective. Instead of asking myself, what benefits will this decision bring me in the immediate future? I shifted my focus to a more profound question. How will this choice influence my life a decade from now? This pivotal change in mindset transformed the way I approached my finances. Suddenly, when the stock market experienced its inevitable downturns, rather than feeling stressed or anxious, I started to view these fluctuations as golden opportunities to invest wisely. I became less preoccupied with chasing quick, high returns and more committed to pursuing steady, sustainable growth that would yield rewards over the long haul. My mindset shifted from seeking to double my money in a matter of weeks to striving to enhance my financial freedom over the next 10 years. This new outlook allowed me to build a more stable and secure financial future while reducing the day-to-day stress that often comes with managing investments. And you know what? That shift in mindset didn't merely elevate my skills as an investor, it transformed me into a more thoughtful and compassionate individual. When you consciously train your mind to focus on long-term outcomes, you begin playing a fundamentally different game. Decisions no longer stem from fleeting impulses or momentary desires. Instead, they are guided by a strong sense of purpose and clarity. Each choice becomes a deliberate act, evaluated through a broader perspective that considers not just immediate gratification, but also the potential ripple effects on my future and the lives of others. Most importantly, I shifted from a reactive stance, where my actions were dictated by outside pressures and emotions, to being intentional, thoughtfully considering the implications before taking any step. This proactive mentality fuels a deeper understanding of my goals and values, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and responsible approach to both investing and life. Warren Buffett emphasizes the importance of temperament over sheer intelligence for a reason. It's not just about having a sharp mind, it's about maintaining a steady and calm approach in the face of challenges. Similarly, Charlie Munger famously reminds us, the big money is not in the buying and selling, but in the waiting. These investment gurus didn't amass their fortunes through sheer luck. Rather, they grasped a crucial lesson that eludes many, the remarkable power of patience in the realm of investing. However, cultivating patience is no easy task, especially in our fast-paced modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with instantaneous outcomes, be it instant gratification from our digital devices or rapid updates on every aspect of life. This culture of immediacy can be detrimental to investors, creating unrealistic expectations about how wealth is built. Unlike the quick rewards of today's society, true wealth accumulation is a slow process, often perceived as tedious and unexciting. It's a gradual journey that frequently operates beneath the surface, out of sight. Wealth compounds quietly, much like the slow, steadfast growth of a massive tree, if you allow it the time and space to flourish. The art of investing rests in understanding this quiet but powerful principle, that patience, rather than haste, ultimately paves the way for financial success. One of the most insightful lessons I learned, albeit the hard way, was the true value of compounding. In the early stages of my financial journey, I thought I had a grasp on what compounding meant. On paper, I could recite the formulas and calculations without hesitation, but emotionally, I was missing the mark. This disconnect is where many of us falter. We tend to underestimate the power of compounding simply because its effects are not immediately visible, especially at the outset. Imagine planting a seed for a tree. You diligently water and nurture it day after day, pouring in your effort and care, but for weeks and even months there are no signs of growth. At times it can feel utterly fruitless. However, then comes that remarkable moment when the first shoot breaks through the soil, and from there the transformation is astonishing. Over time, that tiny sprout develops into a robust, unshakable tree that provides shelter, shade, and a legacy. This is exactly what wealth building and long-term investing are all about. The deliberate act of planting seeds of investment today, nurturing them tirelessly, so that one day your future self can enjoy the comforting shade of the financial security you've cultivated over the years. Let me be candid with you. There were times during my journey when the thought of giving up crossed my mind. There were moments when I felt like I was lagging behind while others seemed to effortlessly rake in profits. I'd scroll through my social media feeds, witnessing friends and acquaintances celebrating their financial wins, and a wave of envy washed over me, making me feel as though I was missing a golden opportunity. This is precisely where the concept of emotional discipline comes into play, because investing is far more than just crunching numbers, it's a roller coaster of emotions. The ability to manage those emotions is truly the superpower every investor needs. Consider the powerful emotions at play: greed that pushes us to chase after fleeting gains, fear that grips us during market downturns, and the insidious FOMO, fear of missing out, that tempts us into hasty decisions. These intense feelings can easily mislead even the most rational of investors. They often whisper in our ears to dive into a stock right as it peaks and to hastily pull out just before a potential rise. These emotions can create a cacophony that drowns out sound strategy. But it's crucial to remember, feelings are not substitutes for strategies. True success lies in discipline and sticking to a well-thought-out plan, regardless of the noise surrounding you. The role of mindset in investing cannot be overstated. Without a well-defined long-term vision, you risk becoming easily influenced by the constant fluctuations and distractions of the market. This lack of clarity often leads individuals to chase after fleeting trends, react impulsively during market downturns, and attempt the nearly impossible task of timing their investments for maximum profit. In such a turbulent environment, it's all too common to find yourself seeking advice from every source: friends, social media, financial news, while ignoring your own insight and strategy. Conversely, when you cultivate a clear vision for your investments, understanding the reasons behind your choices, what you aim to create, and the trajectory of your financial journey, you empower yourself to remain focused and resilient. This sense of purpose allows you to tune out the noise and distractions that tempt others to deviate from their plans. Instead of being swayed by short-term events, you can maintain a steady course, aligning your actions with your overarching goals and values. That's exactly what I experienced firsthand. Once I took the time to articulate my true purpose, transforming an abstract idea into something tangible and actionable, I shifted my focus away from the relentless search for excitement. Instead, I began to seek alignment with my values and goals. My investment strategy evolved. I started to channel my resources into areas where I had a strong understanding rather than jumping on the latest trends and fads. The days of succumbing to the noise of market hype were over. I developed a mindset that treated every dollar not as a chance to win big in a lottery, but as a crucial building block that could contribute to my overall foundation for success. And here's the surprising part: that's when I began to see real growth. It wasn't in a flamboyant, meteoric rise that everyone dreams of. Rather, it was in a steady, robust, and almost organic manner. Growth came to me in a subtle yet powerful way that felt inevitable. I learned that consistency, showing up day after day, week after week, proved to be far more impactful than short bursts of intense effort. Consistency, I found, always trumps intensity. So if you're watching this right now and feeling completely overwhelmed, if you're grappling with the vast sea of conflicting advice floating around, if uncertainty about the next steps is weighing you down, or if you feel as if you're lagging behind, please take a moment to absorb this message. You are not falling behind. Instead, you are right where you need to be in your journey toward making impactful changes in your financial life. The key factor in your success isn't necessarily about pinpointing the perfect stock or predicting market movements with incredible precision. What truly matters is transforming your mindset. Recognize that building wealth is not a race. It is about having clear direction and maintaining disciplined habits. It's essential to adopt a healthier perspective, Perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is what leads to long-term success. You don't have to possess every piece of information or be an expert in every investment strategy. What's vital is committing to the strategies and knowledge that resonate with you. The goal is not to accumulate wealth overnight. Rather, it's about ensuring a steady, secure path to prosperity over time. Now take a moment to pause, reflect, and expand your view. Ask yourself, what am I truly aiming to build? What does financial freedom mean for me personally? Envision a life where money doesn't constantly loom as a source of stress or anxiety. What would that sense of relief and empowerment feel like? Once you have a clearer picture of your aspirations, work backward from that vision. Make investment decisions that align with your long-term goals and prioritize saving in a way that fosters that sense of freedom. It's essential to eliminate distractions. Every time you say no to something trivial, you're affirming your commitment to something much more significant. You don't have to be exceptionally intelligent or flawless in your approach. What you truly need is patience and a steadfast belief in the process of wealth building rather than an obsession with immediate results. Trust that every step you take in the right direction, no matter how small, brings you closer to your definition of financial success. The most crucial insight I've gained, and the key takeaway I hope you embrace from this message, is that the concept of wealth begins as a mindset before it ever materializes as a number in your bank account. The individuals who ultimately succeed in this intricate journey of building financial stability aren't necessarily the quickest, the flashiest, or the luckiest among us. Rather, they are the ones who demonstrate resilience and perseverance. They are the individuals who focus on the long-term vision, consistently showing up day in and day out, even when the tasks feel monotonous or when the spotlight isn't shining upon them. They understand that progress may appear slow, but that's okay, because here's a powerful principle: slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. If you found value in this message, I warmly encourage you to subscribe to Wealth Wisdom. We are creating a vibrant community of like-minded individuals who prioritize long-term planning, deliberate actions, and intentional investments. We focus on genuine discussions, no exaggerated claims, no quick-fix solutions, just honest conversations about how to cultivate real and sustainable wealth. This journey goes beyond mere financial gain. It's fundamentally about achieving true freedom. And remember, freedom isn't about relentless pursuit. It's about establishing a solid foundation through thoughtful building. Thank you for engaging with this content. Now I urge you to take proactive steps toward constructing your future,